again. You see that in the movies? That's an automatic. Don't bother trying to dampen the recoil. You do that with a revolver. We Diamond Dogs are now a force to be reckoned with. We've got the world's attention. We're not some tribal militia, so don't act like one. You will learn how a real soldier fights. You will forget everything Hollywood taught you. And if I catch you doing something else, you'll know it. Engravings give you no tactical advantage whatsoever. That was some fancy shooting. Pretty good.
Oh, Ocelot, you hypocrite. So today we actually got a few more photos added to our little wall over here. Some of the animals that we've captured and some Diamond Dogs members posing for the camera. I also went into the emblem editor and changed our emblem. We are now DQ instead of DD because it is way too obvious.
Please select a mission.
Now normally I would go in numerical order, but today I'm going to go with mission 10 because we get to extract a few people that have some really good skills that we will want.
Accepted.
And it makes the other 3 missions
Heading
a bit
to
easier.
Afghanistan.
Also from here on out I'm just going to be skipping the loadout sections because you'll get the gist of what I'm going with.
Your mission is to rescue a prisoner being held at Lamar Khatib Palace. He's known as Malak, Angel to his fellow Mujahideen. Start by checking the target's VI on your iDroid. The Soviets captured him and took him to the ruins of a palace. His family was subsequently killed in an airstrike on his village. The Soviet scorched earth operation wiped it off the map. The client is none other than his father. Or rather, this was his father's dying wish. If you can manage to rescue other prisoners as well, each one will add a bonus to our pay. When you see them, I'm sure your conscience will tell you what to do.
So yeah, I got Ride the Valkyries playing on our speakers because it's a little too obvious. Also from here on out, instead of having a whole video for cassette tapes, I'm just going to play cassette tapes during my transitions between bases.
The R&D team analyzed the honeybee. How? The CIA wanted it with everything intact. They took it apart to look at it. Then they put it back together. Everything intact. That's the R&D boys, all right. Turns out the honeybee's homing capabilities are a cut above previous manpads. It can detect a broad range of infrared wavelengths and even ultraviolet for supplementary guidance. Hence the name, huh? Right. Honeybees rely on UV light to fly. With this device, flares don't do the target any good. That's why the Soviets are losing so many gunships, and why the CIA was so desperate to get it back. It wasn't just about preventing the Soviets from devising countermeasures. What if the likes of Iran...
God damn it.
The target should be somewhere at that outpost.
We can use this tech to develop
Thanks,
our
Kaz,
own
you're a
portable
champ.
missile. That'll give us a huge... We can use them. What if... And that's why the Soviets are losing so many gunships. And why the CIA was so desperate to get it back. It wasn't just about preventing the Soviets from devising countermeasures. What if the likes of Iran got their hands on it? American aircraft would be put at risk too. We can use this tech to develop our own portable missile. That'll give us a huge advantage. It'll take a little time before the analysis results can be applied to actual implementation. But we'll keep moving with the research.
So that is kind of a downside. Whenever someone has some commentary to say about the mission, in particular Kaz, it completely drowns out the cassette tapes. It's something that it's kind of weird because you can hear that the Betty, as I'll call her, the voice that plays whenever you scan guards and whatnot, she's somewhat muted, but when someone like Kaz talks over the codec, it completely drowns out the cassette tapes. So anyways, this mission, as Kaz said, that there are other prisoners besides Malik, and this is when the Russians start killing prisoners in missions. They will, after Malik takes off here, one Russian guard will come over this way and he will kill a few prisoners. Besides the obvious of not being able to extract the prisoners, you lose 60 heroism for letting a prisoner get killed. And I also realized I never showed off the box, so here it is. I'm very good at using the box, as we'll see here. As an aside, you know, this being a ruined building, is it really that odd that there's some random box in a corner? In other Metal Gear games I could probably understand it because they patrol their own home base, but whatever. As I said, I'm a pro at using the box. No alerts, and I took the guard down. It's fine by me. Now, there's also so besides wanting to extract extra prisoners for extra goodies, it's also a side mission for this level. There's 3 prisoners that you'll need to extract in this base, but there's quite a few guards around, and they start to notice the Fultons more from further off than before. So it pays to be extremely cautious when it comes to extracting guys around other guards.
Spit it out. Speak.
Also, when you're interrogating guards, you have to let them finish talking before giving them the next command, otherwise they just don't register it.
You're gonna need more information to pinpoint a location.
Also, slamming guards really doesn't knock them out for that long. That was maybe, what, 15 seconds, if that? Now, something I should mention during this downtime. The main primary weapon I've got, that blue assault rifle on Snake's hip, it is a rubber bullet rifle. So instead of having to rely on my tranquilizer, I can just pop guys in the heads a few times with some rubber bullets and knock them out. The downside to that rifle, though, is that it doesn't have a tranquilizer attached to it. So I end up not really using it because it's only something I would use if I have to go loud. Also, while it's possible to Fulton guards while they're still conscious like that when they're being held up, they actually start screaming for help once the balloon starts pulling them away, and it attracts guards. Also, in this level, there's going to be copious amounts of speed up. I hope you guys don't mind, but this video would have been about 50 minutes if I didn't just start speeding stuff up all the time. So, as I said, there's multiple prisoners in this base. This one, I don't know, I've never been able to get to him properly. I've always had to climb up that bookcase to find him. And Intel team, I guess it's a good time to talk about them as well. Intel will let you know about nearby plants as well as nearby enemy positions. As an aside, I will be turning off reflex mode in the next mission because it is way too overpowered. But anyways, Intel teams, they will give you a predicted route on your map about nearby guards, their predicted field of movement. It'll also warn you about weather changes, like if sandstorms were happening. They also tell you about nearby plants. The thing is about the plants is that they kind of don't tell you about them until you're right on top of the plant where you would see it normally anyways. But I guess it's the thought that counts. Though I'm pretty sure later on when the intel team levels up, they'll tell you about the plants from farther out. Not only that, but they'll also tell you about cracks that you can use to climb up walls and stuff like that. Also, they provide you with firing support. However, much like the helicopter, it locks your rank to A rank if you use it in a mission. As I said, I'm not a big fan of having all these resources available and getting kind of punished for using them, but whatever. And I've never shown off turning off the generator. Obviously, all the guards get alerted to it. They'll call for it. They'll send someone over to check the power supply to turn it back on. Also, there's supposed to be three prisoners in this base. There's 2 of them in that main building, and there's 1 here in this building. I actually didn't know about this guy until I had to look it up. I thought all 3 of them were in the main building. Also, I don't think I've shown off the passive radar that you get unlocked. Snake's arm, what you can do once you research it is that you punch the ground and it emits a sound wave, and you'll see these little white circles with a distance on them, and that's just people, or not even just guards or prisoners, but also sometimes even animals will show up on there. It's pretty useful in giving you a general idea of where the enemy is. And there we go, 3 out of 3. Something I would like to also note is that while Malak is right there at the very beginning, and for all intents and purposes we could just run straight to him. Oh shit, dropped my mic. Sorry about that, guys. Completely possible to extract Malak at the very beginning. There is that IFV that's escorting them, and vehicles in this will really fuck you up. And it's not possible right now for us to take them out. Even using that rocket launcher that I used to kill the helicopter in the previous video, I am just not good at getting headshots today. Even using the rocket launcher that I used in the previous video, it would still take a good 3 or so hits to, even from behind, to take out that IFV, and it would just fuck me up. Not worth it at this point.
You gonna extract him?
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Hopefully this time I will not get bothered when I play this last cassette tape.
Diamond Dog's intel team special.
God fucking damn it.
Gathering. Mainly human.
Yeah, this is
They plant scouts and moles in the field.
thankfully we can just reset the tape.
Diamond Dog's intel team specializes in information gathering, mainly human and SIGINT. They plant scouts and moles in the field. These operatives will blend into the local populace and work under the guise of a resident, or disguise themselves as travelers and ask around for information. They observe targets using various hidden bugs, cameras, and transmitters, and by tapping their satellite and phone communications. Analyzing all this information creates a clear picture of how wars and the PFs fighting them are changing. This data can also be used for threat assessment when deciding whether to accept contracts from certain clients. And during missions, the intel team keeps track of target locations and produces FOM predictions, reporting mission-critical information based on real-time remote observation of changes in the AO. What you hear from us over the radio is based on how we interpret the data gathered at the command platform. However, intel team operatives go unarmed in almost all situations to avoid revealing themselves to the enemy. Some will carry a knife, but most have nothing at all. As such, don't expect them to help you take on heavily armed adversaries like PF soldiers. Think of them as entirely passive in the hot zone. Plus, they use all manner of techniques to remain inconspicuous in the field. If you ever spot one, you'll have some serious explaining to do. So remember, their specialty is espionage. They may not be of use in a firefight, but when it comes to intel, they're pros.
has been updated.
You know, it almost kind of sounds like there was some cut content with the intel, or actually Mother Base soldiers in general. It kind of sounds like they would be in the mission with you.
It's just to extract the one target.
But hey,
While there's still time before the target reaches the destination.
I didn't show this off. We can make D-Horse poop. And it actually becomes very useful when it comes to vehicle sabotage. So this is in transit. Jesus Christ, what did they feed this horse? And we'll just go ahead and ambush Malik's convoy here. As an aside, one of the prisoners we rescued from the base lets us research the last Fulton upgrade, which is why I want to do this mission first. So yeah, horse poop. It makes cars peel out. And hey, we got ourselves an IFE. So that was one of the side missions for this level, is to extract that. And hey, we might as well extract Malik while we're here, right? What's nice is that we can take all the guards and ooh, you all right there, Malik? Whoops. So back to the mission proper here. You'll notice there's some inconsistencies between cuts. That's because I had to redo this mission.
That's a big outpost.
What is actually a bit of a downside here is that I got caught once on my way here during my second playthrough, so it'll kind of, you'll just notice some inconsistencies in the mission results screen. And I am just not fucking good at headshots. As I was saying, with the prisoners, I would say that this mission gives you the best prisoner because you get the last cargo upgrade for the Fultons. That one allows us to Fulton vehicles, as I just shown, as well as those big containers of materials that we've been seeing around. And as an aside, I mean, as we'll see here, there's a container here that we could Fulton if we wanted. Now, the way the containers work is that there are raw materials that need to be processed back at Mother Base. So while you get a good amount, you'll need to wait for the base processing team to actually process the materials. But then there's another secondary mission here,
Prisoner has died.
as well as showing off the prisoners dying. One of them is to hear this conversation going on between the guards and Malik. Also, for some reason, I got signed out even though I'm offline in the game. I'll explain why when we get to it, but it's kind of a rather big can of worms.
Это не наше дело. Иди его в западное крыло. Он же умрет. Ну и что? В смысле? Наш четкий приказ. Не теряй времени и отведи его в комнату для допросов. Выполняй приказ, или я доложу начальству. Понял. Эй, приятель, мы приехали. Охранник сказал, что твоя семья вышла. Представляешь? Они успели сбежать в другую деревню. Серьезно. Так что, когда тебя будут опрашивать, не теряй духа. Ты ж солдат. Не пускай голову.
Aw, not all Russians are evil. Just most of them. As an aside, if we were to take as long as I did getting to this area, oh, by the way, when I said that the sonar emits a sound, yeah, the guards can hear it too from a pretty good distance, 7 meters, and through a brick wall. Not too shabby. They got some good ears. But as I was saying, if we took too long getting to here, which is why I had to recut, once they drop off Malik, the driver just pieces out. And then he gets interrogated, as we'll be seeing in the subtitles. God damn it. So this area, oh boy, this area. I don't know why I've always had difficulties getting into this fort. as an aside, I'm not extracting any of these guys because there are guards patrolling the walls and they will be seen. Possibly by this guy right here.
Analysis complete.
Now, I don't think I've mentioned it, but we noticed that guard was wearing a helmet. Starting now, the guards start to... Well, actually, I think it also happened last mission, but the guards start to react to how Snake acts or operates. So, since I've been going around doing headshots a lot... Oh, thanks, Sonar. You missed that guy. Anyways, since I've been going around getting headshots, the guards, they now wear helmets. If I was to go and be more aggressive and just go around shooting people, they start wearing body armor. Since I've been doing a lot of missions at night, they also wear, they also carry flashlights. Also, there was no winning move with that guy. He was moving way too wide for me to be able to stay behind that wall and nab him while he was coming around the corner. And how lucky for me, another sandstorm. And at this point, I stopped trying to get close. I don't trust sandstorms anymore after the last mission. They let me down a few times too many. And something interesting to note here is that even though the Russians supposedly have a Scorched Earth campaign, this guard keeps asking him about why the village went up in flames. I don't think, I think the Russian guard is legitimately, doesn't know. Way back when in mission, I believe it was 3 or 4 when I had to extract the Spetsnaz commander, if I interrogated him, he would have denied any knowledge of burning down a village, and which is the reason why we were sent out to kill him in the first place. And you bring up how Kaz was talking about... that's bad. You bring up how Kaz was talking about all the Mujahideen being wiped out. It seems that it's not the Russians that are going around burning down villages. Also, one last secondary mission here, and that is freeing 2 prisoners in the northeast corner of the fort here. And they're inside of this room. It is kind of a bit more of a pain in the butt because of the whole Fultoning thing and that there's quite a few guards around. And I didn't want to be bothered having to knock out every single guard. There's a good, like, 8 or 9 patrolling around. As an aside, if I wanted to, I could have gotten a little creative and Fulton extracted the guy through there. Sadly, there's no secondary mission, and Kaz doesn't say you are so Sugoi, Boss Kun, and claps for you. But I didn't want to do it because there's patrolling guards and I would get caught. And yeah, the guards, their eyesight seems to be definitely improving, seeing me at that distance in the dark. Whereas, as we saw in like in the first few videos, I could be almost right in front of them and they wouldn't notice. Also, this fucking thing. How many times has this completely fucked me over? Made me waste time and get caught. A lot. It is kind of weird though. Snake can jump from like a 10-meter distance off of ladders with a guy on his back, but he can't walk up that little depression in the ground with the guy on his back. I don't know. I've never carried guy. Well, I did once, but I could barely do it back with the Marine training. But I don't often carry guys on my back, so what do I know? As an aside, Malik talks during the whole time you're walking with him, But for some reason, there's no subtitles, it's not translated, and trying to look up online, I can't find any lines. So I'm honestly not too sure if he's supposed to be translated, or if he's just mumbling in a language that in, you know, I don't know.
That's it. You've made it out of the hot zone. No sign of the enemy. Mission complete, boss.
But yeah, so
Yes, mission complete. Boss,
as an aside,
that was
I do
exceptional.
get an S rank later when I extracted the IFV. There was a landing zone right by that four-wheeler where I extracted Malik.
Boss, that target you extracted, Malik, is saying that he's never heard of our client. What's more, he says his village was destroyed long before he was ever taken prisoner. Apparently it fell victim to some sort of disease, then was completely burned to the ground. Malik was out on a mission at the time, and that's the reason why he alone survived. But the question is, who hired us to find him? According to Malik, he saw strange soldiers snooping around the village when he got back. Turns out they were members of Cypher's strike force, XOF. My theory is they wanted to get their hands on Malik to question or silence him before the Soviets could get to him. Cypher was just using us to cover things up. All that crap about Malik's relative was a front to convince us to retrieve him. But an entire colony just wiped off the map. It sounds a lot like the Hamid during the Honeybee incident. All I know, boss, is there's no way in hell I'm handing Malik over to Cypher. I decided to bring him back to Mother Base instead. He's one of us now. We told the client through a cutout that the target was killed. For some reason, though, they still paid us everything we were owed. Cypher's obviously up to something. This is probably just another preemptive cleanup operation to them. But to Malik, he lost his village, his family, everything, and he wants his revenge. In other words, he's one of us. More staff from each of the teams are active in the area of operations now. That means some will be wounded, get sick, or suffer PTSD. That's where the medical team comes in. I've taken the liberty of commissioning the construction of a new medical platform. Having proper medical facilities for the men is a matter of life or death, so I put up the resources this time around. You can check on the platform's progress by selecting base facilities under the iDroid's Mother Base menu.
And yeah, and Kaz does indeed pay for the construction of the medical platform. As I'll show off here. As an aside, Millard mentions that they're in the area of operations and they get sick, suffer PTSD and whatnot. For the most part, that all happens at Mother Base due to the troublemakers that we might have. After this video, I went around firing every single troublemaker because they were causing quite a lot of problems. Also, Malik is a unique soldier.
Sick bay on the new medical platform. Staff who come back with wounds, diseases, or PTSD can be treated there. If we need any other platforms, feel free to issue the construction order from your iDroid.
Is unique and needs to be put into the med bay immediately. As an aside, this is a secondary mission of finding an old Diamond Dogs member.
That's the target. Is that one of our men from 9 years ago? Bring him home, boss.
Oh man, I bet he'll be so happy to see us. Hey buddy, it's me, Big Boss, remember? Aw, playing hard to get. He knows what's up. He knows how Boss greets his soldiers. Surely we can knock the knowledge back into him. It's pretty quick though. Damn. Even outrunning Boss. Alright, slam him. Oh! Jesus fucking Christ, he just floored the Boss. Alright, well... Huh, that didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped. Usually that always works. You just run up to a guy and you slam him on the floor. Hey, I'll just shoot him in the head with the tranquilizer.
Caution.
Whoa.
Sandstorm approaching.
You just took that trank to the face like a champ. Huh. I think we need to go for more desperate more desperate measures. Surely he'll remember the box, right?
Boss, I knew you.
I kind of like the timing of the sandstorm.
One of the guys out on a mission at the time. He's fallen a long way from the glory days. But will he come back to us?
So this is kind of awkward. With that 40% chance, I don't want to risk it, because you might not make it back home to Mother Base. I'm just gonna run around here. As an aside, you can put the posters that we've been finding onto the box. We'll find more as the game goes on. Yeah, that was a bit awkward. Thanks for standing right there the whole time, dude. Yeah.
Side op
Mission
completed.
complete. We brought one of our men back home.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Everyone at Mother Base will be happy to see us after this, right?
Nice work today, boss.
Thank you, Pequod.
Welcome back, boss. Another successful mission.
Everyone's just so happy to see us.
Great to see you safe, boss.
Hey, it's the guy who was scolded by Ocelot.
Snake, you stink.